Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the BVarsity Live preseason high school football super show. I'm still getting set up here, but John Farron's excited out there. He's rocking out to our intro. Trevor Horn's here with me, and we have another set of football coaches in the studio here at the Bakersfield Californian for you to enjoy and listen to, and we'll try to. We won't put them on the grill. Really, we're not that mean. But first up is Quinn Cesar Chavez High School up in Delano.
They're out on the grill every day because it's so dang hot outside.
That's true. That is also true. Cesar Chavez, by the way, the defending South Sequoia League champions. Now, some people say you shared it with Bakersfield Christian. Well, in that league, there is no such thing as sharing. You guys got it.
Yeah.
That's the way I understood it. You beat them, and so the tie goes to the Titans. Anyway, it's another year. I know last year doesn't count a whole lot anymore. You won 10 games last year. You'd like to win 10 or more again this year. What's new up in Delano in year 2 for you, Casey?
Year 2, I feel like I'm embedded in the community. I've established a lot of healthy relationships. I love my school. I love my kids, and we're just working hard right now.
You had a couple of kids play quarterback last year, and I know Michael Nava was one of them, but I believe he had some injury issues. Is that right? And then you had another kid, Perkins, come in and play really well. And is he back this year now?
Yeah, Perkins will be a junior. He started 6 games for us last year, so he's got some mileage under his belt before he goes into his first full season. So Perkins is doing a good job right now. He's working hard and to lead our football team offensively.
He's got a nice zip on it too. From what I saw
does the ball
this
pretty
week.
well.
Yeah,
he does a good job.
It works out pretty well with you guys. So
yeah, he's working hard on his mechanics. Just got a quarterback coach. He's working really well with them, and so we feel like if he continues to improve, he should be pretty solid.
Yeah, I called him Perkins because, as you told us before the show, you don't really use first names. It's Dion Perkins,
yeah.
But you just sort of it's Perkins, it's Solorio, it's whoever. It's not. We don't use first names.
Yeah, that's how we do it. I mean, we're football coaches, and
right.
And the one things we see on the back of their jerseys or on their helmets or their practice jerseys or their spirit packs, we see their last names, so we get to know them by their last names.
Well, I won't call him Damon, but tell us about Avila, your running back.
Avila, he's a good player. He's going to be a senior. We kind of threw him into the mix last year as a running back. He was really on the defensive side of the football, and we needed a guy there who was tough and who can get those tough yards for us and kind of learn the position. And he did a great job for us last year, and he's had a great offseason. He's worked hard in the weight room, and he's worked hard to improve his skills as a running back, understanding what's going on, and he's going to be a player for us. He's good.
Looking at his stats from last year, 224 carries, 1,210 yards. That's over 5 yards a carry if you can't do the math that quickly, including 600-yard games. Only had 3 touchdowns because Mario Solorio was sort of bogarting all those touchdowns.
He was kind of a closer a little bit.
Yeah.
He'd be the workhorse in between the 20s, and then inside the red zone we get Mario in there.
Hey, Coach, I think one thing that maybe you wanted to do last year, as we watched some video of you kind of getting after the kids a little bit. Chavez is a school, it's only been around for 10 or so years when you got there last year. Not a lot of history of success. What you one thing you set out to do last year is change the culture, isn't it?
Yeah. The coaches are there, Coach Brajas and his staff before I came in, they've done a great job as far as, making football big and getting the excitement going as football. All I did was come in and install new routines, establish healthy relationships, let those guys coach football a little bit. Also I had a chance to teach them what was going on and teach the kids new football skills on offense and defense, and that's pretty much what I did.
Well, now it's the biggest thing, Casey. It's we'll talk to Dennis Moody here at the 3:00 hour. The two of you both came into Delano, new head coaches, first year last year at the new head coach, at the new schools in Delano, and there was kind of this gap where there wasn't a lot of great football being played in that town. And you guys walk in, what I see out of the both of you is you embraced the past. You brought in head coaches and former coaches that knew the kid, knew the environment there. And do you think that's the one thing that's kind of worked for you, is that you kind of figured out quickly how to work with these kids and get the most out of them?
Well, it starts with the coaches. I have a great coaching staff. I've been pretty blessed to have guys that are eager, who want to coach football and want to learn different new routines and things like that. And it really starts with those guys. And I'm kind of blessed to have those guys. And whatever I'm teaching them, they're relating it to the kids, and the kids are eager as well, and they're getting going. So I'm in a great situation.
Yeah, Trevor is actually going to do a story on how kind of the rise of Delano football in general. Delano High School has a great history, but Chavez and Kennedy are these young schools. You guys are up and coming. What's the rivalry like with Kennedy? I mean, for a while there, neither school was any good, but now last year, all of a sudden, that was a very meaningful game.
It's good to play. RFK in our league, and I'm glad they're in our league. And one day we'll be able to play Delano. But it's good for the community. It's good for both sides of town. It's a positive event for this for our district and our community. And they're a good football team. They did a good job winning Division VI title last year. They're very competitive. And I think we have them we played them in our homecoming game
October
last year.
23rd.
Yeah, so it's an awesome event. I mean, last year it was a big deal. We had a lot of people at our games, and so it's a positive thing for our district. And they're good. They're going to be athletic, and it's a good rivalry that we're starting.
We talked about skill players a little bit. Let's talk about the big guys up front. Who do you have coming back up there?
We have, Michael Cervantes. Michael Cervantes is an all-league player last year. He's a left guard. We're playing him on both sides of football this year. He's just
Is that a
tremendous
first name?
Michael, yeah.
Wow.
Michael
You knew
Cervantes.
that one. That one's easy,
I knew that
though.
one. He was a player. He's coming back. He'll be a 3-year varsity player. He's one of our leaders, one of our captains last year. He's just a grinder. He's coming back. We have Jared Diaz. He's a right guard too as well. He's coming back as in his second year. He's doing a great job as well. Coach Ortega is our offensive line coach, and he's done a tremendous job, transitioning the old routines to the new routines, the new blocking schemes and stuff like that. And so those two guys are leading the way. And we got young guys like Montevilla. He's our center. He's doing a good job competing for the job, and the JV O linemen that are coming up this year are doing a good job as well, trying to compete for a spot.
How important is that development there, apart from the returning starters? I mean, you can get all the skill players you want, but if you don't have anyone to protect them, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we just the offensive line is very, very important. And I'm a run guy, and to help us manage the game and moves the change and stuff like that. And so, having a valuable offensive line coach and Coach Ortega, who's a great teacher, and guys who want to play offensive line and do the things in the trenches that need to happen. And so, it's very important. We feel pretty lucky that we have a good situation.
Sure. And on the defensive side of the ball, I'm just looking at some stats. 3 guys back who had more than 100 tackles. We talked about Mario Solorio, but also Angel Espinoza and Hugo Martinez are back. I mean, these guys are entrenched in that lineup.
Yeah, those are good, solid football players, and they worked hard all season as well to improve their skill sets. And we feel pretty lucky to have those guys back leading our defense. And Mario Solorio, he was our defensive player of the year in our league and all-region kid. And
sure.
And he loves everything about the preparation of being a football player. And we feel pretty lucky he's coming back. He's still learning. He's got a lot of learning to do, but he's still learning. He goes to practice with great attitude. We moved Hugo to linebacker, and so we feel like we got.
Now he was at defensive end.
He was defensive end last year. He was an all-league player, all-area carry.
11 sacks, 16.
Yeah.
I mean, quarterbacks look out.
Yeah, so we feel like we have enough guys up front that we feel like we can move him and into a linebacker role, and so he can be in a situation to make some plays and cause other people to make plays too as well. And then Espinoza, he's doing a good job defensive end. He's coming back. He's getting bigger. He's worked hard in the offseason. So I'm proud of him too as far as where he's come from through the spring to where he's at right now.
Secondary, Vincent Jacobo is a name that sticks out to me.
Yep, he's a sophomore last year. He was a sophomore last year. He's going to be a junior. He's an electrical player. He's a guy that wants the ball in his hands on offense. He's a guy that has some wheels. He's quick. He's tough, and defensively, he was a pretty good corner for us. I mean, he didn't make a lot of mistakes. He was able to tackle and do the things we want him to do. But this year, we're expecting big things from him, not just on defense, but in all areas of the game.
Okay, so you double as a track and field coach at Delano. So you obviously spend a lot of time with these kids. You condition them a lot. Over the last year and a half, what have you really kind of taken away from this group of kids and their work ethic of what they bring to the table and kind of who they are as people?
Well, me being a track coach and I appreciate that opportunity that our school was allowed to let me to have that opportunity. And being a head track coach was about getting involved in the student body, getting to work with other student athletes besides football players, and to get our football players out there as part of their off-season training program. It's a big component to our success on the football field, not only the football field, but in the classroom and things like that. So the track deal was pretty good for our kids, and then the routines of going in the weight room to training on the field and establish relationships with everybody, not just football coaches, the football kids, but everyone around the track situation. So it was good. Going to track meets, you get to meet other coaches as well, and you kind of develop a network. So the track thing was awesome. I'm glad I did it, and I'm looking forward to do it again.
And you might find a kid who runs an 11-second 100 and say, "What are you not doing on the football field?"
A couple soccer guys. I try to get some soccer guys out there and that can run and some, but we're still working on it.
Well, they can't use their hands though. It's like a foreign concept. No, I'm just kidding.
They should be good at track then.
What do you know about the South Sequoia League that you didn't know, say, a year ago? You're a guy who's coaching the track, had some success in the track, real big Division I type league. What's different about the SSL, and how have you adjusted to it?
I knew the league was very, very competitive. And that was one of the reasons why I was took the job at Chavez. The league was very, very competitive, along with a lot of different other things. I knew there was some small town atmosphere. I knew there was some good football. I knew there were some coaches that were in it for the right reasons. There was an egoless deal. And then going through the league last year, that's what I found. I found like there was coaches that were, in it for the right situations. I thought their kids were well prepared each week. I thought some size. I saw some speed at every different school. I saw a lot of tradition at schools. And you could tell that, our SSL is a very, very competitive situation. I'm glad I'm in it. I'm glad our kids are in it.
Having said that, let's take a look at the Cesar Chavez schedule for this year. And you guys obviously are trying to defend a league championship now. We'll get to that. But first, annual trip. This is actually a road game. You told us at Roosevelt. That's a Thursday night opener. South's another league champ that you get. West is a Division II school.
They're athletic.
Highland, a D3 school that's kind of on the rise. You sort of set yourself up for some tough games before you get into that SSL slate.
Yeah, I think that's a tough preseason schedule. I think South High, on film you look at them and they're just big and they're athletic, and I know Coach does a great job out there. It's a great community. It's a good school. It's just we beat them last year 24-0, and it was like, how did you guys do that? We took advantage of some things. I think they're going to be very, very tough and hungry to come to our place, and so we're preparing hard for those guys. I think West, another one. It's they're athletic, and it's a great part of town. Coach does a good job over there running his offense, and you got to be prepared for that. And then Highland's got a new guy. I think, the temperament of his football players and the environment he's trying to build over there, they're going to be very, very competitive.
Yeah.
And it's just like you look at all three of them, and you're just like, there's three different offenses, three different defenses.
Makes it hard for you.
It's a tough deal, but we embrace the challenge, and we've worked hard and our coaches have worked hard to be prepared for those weeks for sure. And obviously Roosevelt. I'm coming from Roosevelt and Fresno, so I know a little bit about those guys. And
when you saw them twice last year,
we saw them twice last year, and they're in a they're in a good league up there in the NYL, so they play competitive. They train hard all year round.
And they're tough, yeah.
They're going to be tough. So they're going to be athletic too as well. So we're going to go week by week.
Yeah, it's and then you get into the SSL and look at that key stretch at the beginning of October at BCHS, home Wasco, at Kennedy. I mean, those were the teams that were up there in the standings with you last year, back to back to back. But really, it's just we joked yesterday that we're going to ding a bell every time a coach said it. But if you don't go week by week, you're going to get buried.
Yeah, that first 6 weeks. I mean, all 10 games are pretty tough, but you got to be able to survive after that first 6 weeks. You feel pretty good. You got to split with you got to play two tough Bakersfield teams in West and South. Then you got to go to Highland, who's doing some great things out there, and then you got to play Wasco, who's on traditionally on the top of our league, and you got BC, who's coming off some pretty successful football season under new leadership and valuable resources that they have with experience as well. So we have to go week by week, and right now we're in fall camp still, and we're getting ready for our scrimmage, which is next week versus McLean, and after McLean we'll start looking at South and start preparing for those guys.
We just got a few seconds left, Coach, but I want to ask you, a very successful first year, I think, by any measure. What is now that you've been there a year, do you have a sense of what the ceiling for Chavez football is? Where can this go?
Well, last year was awesome. It pushed us into this year as far as the offseason, but we have new visions. We have new goals. We have three big things that we're trying to look for is that we're trying to be competitive. We're trying to be competitive in everything we do, on the field, off the field, at home, being a big brother, being an uncle, whatever you are. So be competitive in everything we do. And then we're trying to just be mentally tough, overcome obstacles, appreciate the good times, appreciate each other, but just, overcome obstacles and be mentally tough. And we're trying to go hard everything we do, whether it's in the classroom or on the field. So those are the three things we're looking at this year, and we're trying to work hard to put a good product on the field and represent our town, our school, our families, and our hard work.
Awesome. Well, that's Casey Quinn Cesar Chavez High School. Obviously, good things going on up in Delano there. Coach, we appreciate you joining us. We'll let you get back to work. And scheduled next, I don't see him out there yet. We'll see if we can get him in here. Lucas Lucero of Independence is up next. We will be back on the BVarsity Live Super Show.